They say spiritual awakening is beautiful, that it's full of peace, love, light, and higher consciousness. And yes, it can be. But what no one tells you is the price you pay for it. The emotional toll, the mental chaos, the identity crisis. You don't just wake up one day and feel enlightened. You wake up and your entire world feels upside down. Let's be honest, spiritual awakening doesn't start with peace. It starts with pain. A deep discomfort with everything you once accepted. The job that once felt stable now feels suffocating. The friendships that used to feel comforting now feel fake. You can't explain it, but something inside you shifts. It's like your soul decides to clean house, and everything that doesn't align with your truth has to go. And that's terrifying. You're not just shedding habits. You're shedding identities. You're letting go of the version of you that was created to survive in a world that never really saw you. That version knew how to please others. That version knew how to blend in. But now, you're realizing you're not meant to blend in. You're meant to break patterns. You're meant to evolve. But that evolution, it costs you your comfort. It costs you relationships that felt like home, even if they were toxic. It costs you belief systems that once gave you security, even if they were limiting. It costs you the illusion of safety you built by playing small. And suddenly, you're standing in this strange space between the old you and the new you, between who you were taught to be and who you're becoming. It's lonely. It's confusing. And some days, it feels like you're losing your mind. You're not. You're just waking up. People think awakening means knowing more. But really, it's about unlearning everything that isn't true. It's about peeling back layers that were never really you. And that process? It's messy. You cry. You isolate. You overthink. You question everything. Even your purpose. Especially your purpose. You start wondering, why am I even here? And not in a dramatic, attention-seeking way, but in a quiet, soul-deep kind of way. You sit in silence and feel this ache, like your spirit is trying to remember something it forgot. And you realize this isn't about finding new answers. It's about learning to sit with better questions. Questions like, what do I actually want? What makes me feel alive? What am I pretending not to know? That's the hidden cost of awakening, facing the truth. Not the filtered truth you post on social media. The raw, unedited, inconvenient truth. The kind that wakes you up at 3 a.m. and forces you to face parts of yourself you've been avoiding for years. You meet your shadow, your fears, your past, your mistakes. And instead of judging them, you start holding space for them. You stop trying to fix yourself and start learning to understand yourself. And that, ironically, is what begins to heal you. But it doesn't happen overnight. You'll lose things along the way, friends who don't understand you anymore. Opportunities that no longer align. Beliefs that once defined your identity. You might even lose your sense of direction. But what you gain? It's priceless. You gain clarity, strength, authenticity. You begin to live from your truth instead of your trauma. You stop chasing validation and start creating from your soul. You realize you don't need to be fixed. You just needed to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. And you start building a life around that truth. The journey isn't easy. No one hands you a manual for how to awaken. You stumble. You fall. Sometimes you fall back into old habits just to remember why you outgrew them in the first place. But every time you rise, you do so with more wisdom, more compassion, more awareness. People might call you different, distant, detached, and maybe you are. But that's because you're no longer living on autopilot. You're no longer settling for shallow conversations and surface-level relationships. You crave depth, meaning, alignment. And that means you have to walk alone sometimes. But even in your solitude, you're never truly alone. Because now you have yourself. And that's someone you used to run from. Now you sit with your own thoughts and actually listen. You hold space for your emotions without judging them. You learn to trust your intuition, even when it doesn't make logical sense. That inner guidance, it becomes your compass. And here's where it gets really real. Awakening doesn't mean your life gets easier. It just means you stop betraying yourself to make it easier for others. It means you choose truth over comfort, growth over approval, alignment over attachment. And sometimes that looks like quitting a job that drains you, ending a relationship that's safe but stagnant, saying no when you used to say yes just to avoid conflict, setting boundaries that feel uncomfortable because you've spent your whole life being available to everyone except yourself. But with each decision, you get lighter, not because life gets easier, but because you're no longer carrying the weight of pretending. You're no longer hiding parts of yourself to make other people comfortable. You're no longer shrinking to fit into spaces that were never built for your expansion. And you start to notice something. The more real you become, the more magnetic you become. You attract people who see you, opportunities that excite you, experiences that nourish you. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're finally aligned. This is the transformation. From surviving to thriving. From pleasing to creating. From noise to clarity. But remember, transformation always comes with a cost. You have to let go of the version of you that everyone liked, but you didn't love. That's the price of authenticity. That's the hidden cost of spiritual awakening. It's not just about higher consciousness and inner peace. It's about burning through every false identity until all that's left is your truth. Raw, real, unfiltered. And the beauty of that? No one can take it from you. So if you're going through it right now, if you feel lost, alone, disconnected, know this. You're not broken. You're breaking through. You're shedding everything that was built on fear so you can rise in freedom. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's also necessary because you weren't meant to live a life that looks good on the outside but feels empty on the inside. You were meant to live wide awake, fully conscious, deeply connected, unapologetically you. You've made it this far. You've survived the unraveling. You've faced the chaos. Now it's time to rebuild, but this time on your terms. So if no one else tells you this today, I'm proud of you. Thank you for watching till the end. You didn't just watch a video, you sat with yourself. You faced the truth. That takes courage. If this message hit home, like and subscribe. It helps this message reach more people just like you, people who are awakening, transforming, and rising. Until next time, keep walking your path, loudly, boldly, and in full truth.